And welcome back, everybody. We are back for another podcast. Of course, we did miss last week, and there's no good reason other than there was construction, and it was actually kind of a crappy news week, so I guess that's really why. But hey, this week we actually got topics to talk about. We got, some pretty good news that hit, I think, all things considered. So we'll be able to put together a full show. Of course, members, some of you have reached out to me with pretty much your condolences for the X-Men Dark Phoenix audio riff. Yes, that's out if you guys are members there. Yes, I definitely did unleash there at the end for a good solid few minutes on everything that they did with this film, and it felt good. I felt relieved. I felt at peace finally. So,
you know what? I remember nothing about that film.
That is good, and I'm pretty sure that's how we're gonna keep it forever. I'm proud to say it's one film out of the entire X-Men catalog I don't have in my collection, and I never will. So. Even though I'm a completionist, I refuse. Unless somebody's going to gift it to me for like $5 or something. Don't spend more, people. Don't spend any, actually. But, yeah. You can also catch Fantastic Four, the 2012, or is it 2012? When the hell did that movie come out? 2014, 2016?
2015.
You can catch that on Disney+. Don't do that, though, but you can. It's, oh, what a terrible movie as well. But, of course, this is your host, Armin. I am joined by Mitch.
What's up? You can find Mitch692, and I apologize for the car sound. It's just that I'm in a little hot box, and I want the window open. So.
Oh, I was gonna say maybe you just paused the PS4 and now it's just like revving up to blast off.
Oh no, you definitely hear that.
Are you in a wind tunnel? Maybe.
I mean, I got the fan going as well, so you can hear that. It's just really hot.
Oh, there you go. And I believe we are joined by Tristan.
Yeah, hey guys, you can catch me at J Chance, and I'm just trying to see what I can get from the Steam sale right now.
Oh, there's a Steam sale going on?
Yep.
Glad to see we got you full attention.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, with all the riveting topics we got coming, I can see why he's fully attentive here. Oh, yep. Now, let's clarify this, because we couldn't do it last week. But yeah, the Miles Morales Spider-Man
Ate crow last week because it said Spider wouldn't show up. You got Spider-Man, but not the one that you wanted.
I was half right.
Yeah. Well, okay, so
I said you'd get a tease of the suit. We got a bit more than that, but they teased the suit at the start.
I was like, we're not getting Spider-Man. Turns out I was correct because we're getting another Spider-Man. So we were all sort of variations of correct on Miles Morales. So there we go.
I got Horizon right. I just didn't get God of War.
Yeah.
Just like, damn it.
They're saving God of War for next year. I guarantee you. Once a couple titles come out, it was a good presentation. Now we got to look forward to the Microsoft one. Halo. That's what I'm excited for.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, it's we'll see how that goes. But either way, if you guys check that out, let us know what games you're excited for that have been announced so far down in the comments below. And with that in mind, I think we're just gonna get into this proper show start. Hollywood is still struggling to get back to normal, or any form of like normal operations, from shooting to releasing films. Originally, Disney was like, well, we're just going to release a little bit after Tenet, and, it'll all be good for Mulan. So, what's happened there, Mitch? Because it's not going quite as planned.
But didn't Tenet move?
Yes.
Yes, it got delayed by 2 weeks.
So, which you know full well.
In its place.
Yeah, you know full well that's Warner Brothers going, no, we're going to use Mulan. Like, they're Disney publicly admitting, or to the investors anyway, that Tenet is going to be the test bed for Mulan's box office. It's like, no, that's going to be a test bed for our movie. It's what it feels like.
Oh, definitely.
And they're rightfully not happy about that. Just like,
because, well, the thing is, I get both of them want to get the film out there, right? And they're trying to be the one that's like, oh, people really want to go back to theaters, I guess. Can we be the one that breaks this? But you're also running the risk of 90% of people not showing up. And a recent poll, right before we started this, I went and looked at it. It was published, I think, yesterday by one of the bigger websites. Close to 60% of all people polled say they are not returning to theaters anytime soon within the next year to 18 months. I fall into that category. So,
So what's funny is that I was browsing Twitter before the cast started, and we had was it one of the cinemas in Texas showed a video of one of their employees desanitizing seats. So I'm like, yeah, that is not gonna help.
So
no.
yeah, you get paid at least, mate. Like, get paid. No one's gonna show up, but get paid for that one spray. But the way the cases are shooting up in America now, like you're at another peak, but I can't imagine it's gonna stop where it is. If they didn't open at the start of this thing over there, they're not going to open now.
Right.
Disney's already delayed the opening of one of their parks. Cinemas and theaters are going to have to delay everything again. Production isn't going to be able to start due to this thing. So
Yeah.
you're not going to have a choice whether you want to go back or not.
Right, and that's exactly kind of like what I'm looking at. Like, I understand people really want to get to a theater. They want to go back to that, that magic you get when you go see a movie, when you're with your friends or after it comes out. But again, it's not really feasible right now. Cases are shooting up. We don't know how it's going to go. I mean, if we follow the last pattern, when they were this high or aiming for this high, things were shutting down all over the place. So maybe another one. It's interesting to just kind of gauge and see how people are trying to respond to this and how companies are trying to play cat and mouse with each other. Like right now I'm looking at WB and Disney in the same position as Sony and Microsoft, pointing at each other going, no, you go. Yeah. Who's going to be the first one so the other one can do the smart decision that the other one did not?
So that's the thing. They can't keep moving these movies around forever.
Right.
If they keep moving around forever, the theater chains and the studios are going to go bust.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. So someone's got to blink somewhere. How they blink and where everything falls, that's in question. I still stand by they just dump it on VOD. You'll get far more money from VOD than you would have at a quarter capacity theater.
Well, also at this point right now, where they're at, it's interesting because you look at the likes of, Mulan or something, and I think it has that capability, but who knows? Because, we learned about New Mutants, for example. It's the whole reason they don't want that out there was if they have to take it digital, Warner Brothers gets it on HBO Max, technically. So they're like, well, we got to release it in theaters because we're not letting our competitor take it. It's I get what is happening. It's terrible that this is kind of the, solution to it. The solution is just kind of not do anything about it and hope for the best, which doesn't really work at all. I don't know.
I mean, I legitimately forgot yesterday New Mutants got a new release date.
It did?
Yeah, it's in August.
Oh.
I had the tweet ready to go, being like, everyone forgot about it. But I quickly Googled to make sure I was right, and then I was like, oh, I'm wrong. So delete. But
damn.
That movie should just be the dumping ground. Just release it in theaters and then, I don't know, put it on.
Honestly,
just give it to HBO Max. It'll be gone in a month anyway.
They should just swap Mulan and New Mutants and wish for the best. Honestly, that's what you should do.
It's no movie's gonna make money this year.
Definitely not.
And I apologize for that, Doug.
The only ones that I think I could legitimately make money would be Wonder Woman and Black Widow. Other than that, I'm just ooh, I ain't showing up to anything else. Hell no.
Even then, Germany's getting looks like a second spike of it with an R number of 3, near enough 2.7, I think. So God knows what's going on over here. No doubt the UK's gonna get one because we've kind of gone, yeah, cool, just get on with your stuff. Remember to stay alert. And it's oh, thanks, Boris, you dumbass. So I know. Nowhere's going to have full capacity, so I can't see. No, nothing's going to make money.
Right.
You might get a little bit, a couple of 100K. That's about it.
Yep. So it's a wait and see game. We'll keep you guys updated on this as soon as we find out more, and when we find out what how they're going to slowly start reopening and when productions start. We'll get back to this topic. It'll be frequent. I feel every couple of weeks we'll be talking about it. So. We've heard some rumors about Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom and the MCU rumors straight up go as far back as the moment they started the acquisition, because obviously Doctor Doom is going to be one of the biggest heavy hitter characters you have. So, use him. Now we're hearing rumors that they're going to set him up in a indirect way first, which again, that makes sense. That's definitely the way you should do it. So, what's
so
the
it's kind of how they do everything, really.
Exactly. That's how they did Wakanda. It was a mention on the side of Age of Ultron. They're like, Wakanda, huh? Oh, okay. That exists. Okay, so, but this seems like there's going to be somebody directly from there again. Like, that's the way apparently they're taking it. Sort of like a liaison.
I was gonna say I think it's Lucia von Bardos. I think it's her name. How you say it? I think she was the ruler of, or the prime minister of Latveria before Doom takes over.
Mm-hmm.
So they're setting up that Latveria exists, but Doom's not there yet. We're gonna see how Doom takes over Latveria.
Good.
That's the direction that is rumored to take in, which I don't see why else would you do anything differently.
I would honestly love it if it's like, well, the Avengers don't currently exist the way they did, and while they're trying to recover and, do missions around the Earth and help the people out, this dude in Eastern Europe just been taking over small parts of land, proclaiming himself king while no one's watching him. It's like, you know what? Yeah, that's definitely how you do it. Like, it makes sense. And Doctor Doom, again, in my opinion, one of the greatest villains ever made. So
easily.
Please do not just toss him out and it's like, this character needs the proper build up, backstory, like everything about. He should be pretty much the evil Tony Stark that lasts for at least a decade. Like, this character needs to have an arc.
I was like, he needs the Thanos treatment, but a bit more attention than what Thanos got. Thanos very much played a backseat into 10 years, because I think that's just kind of how they introduced him. So, like, you know what? Let's just keep people like remembering that this guy exists for 10 years. But I think Doom, you need to have a bit more focus on him.
Mm-hmm. So, do they obviously introduce? Like, do you introduce him for the first time? You're like, here's Doctor Doom. What's wrong with his face? Like, or do you go a different route where he's...
I think you need to see the whole face thing happen.
Okay, good. We're on the same wavelength here. Because, I feel like we need to see Victor Von Doom properly as this character who we can kind of see his emotion before he puts the mask on, and we see his downfall and all that stuff. Like, that's at least how I would perceive it being done, because it just doesn't make sense to do it any other way, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Doom's thing for a long time was, I was a pretty boy, my face got scarred, I'm mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you need that part in there. Like, you set him up, as you said, as the next, like a Tony Stark figure, and then you can bring him down. Maybe you set him up to be like you do Infamous Iron Man straight off the bat. You have try and be like that, and then that's why he still wears the armor, and that's why he has the cape. But you just can't. I know that yet again. That's everything's getting to Stark, but it's there. You can kind of. He was a very Tony Starkish style, egotistical.
I was gonna say, like, if people start complaining that he's too much like Tony Stark, it's like, yeah, except he's like a ruler of a country, but arms dealing and all this and robots.
Say he's a billionaire. Like, name one billionaire that's a good person.
Yeah.
They're all the same. Like, over it.
Right. So, honestly, I'm excited. The faster they can get this in, the better, in my opinion. Now, where do you think they use the first mention? Where would you put it?
I have no clue. I don't know where you introduce Lucia Van Bardos, whatever her name is, at whatsoever.
I want to go risky and be like, you know what? I think they're going to mention it in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I was just about to say the only way I could think of it is if you can go off the bat. If we're doing what's that place? Madripoor?
Yeah.
Is that what Falcon's doing? Yeah. If you're doing Madripoor, you might as well set up Latveria as well.
Right.
Why not? Have it on the news in the background. This woman's having to fight for a right to rule the country or whatever.
Or if it's like, because we know there's going to be a subplot that takes them to Prague and through some of the Eastern Europe, like dealing with the Winter Soldier and stuff. I wouldn't mind if they're like, where can we go? And he's like, Latveria? He goes, yeah, no, I heard there's massive political turmoil there. Oh, okay. Like, something easy, and then, like you said, toss it on a screen in the back, talk about it. It's like, oh, okay. Like, get that out there, but do it slowly. You know, like I don't need a
Or
shove
even
in
if
my
it's like
face.
election posters. Like have election posters for Doom and Lucia.
Oh,
and
that'd be
do that.
amazing.
But keep it really simple.
Yeah, that would be. You can do it how they did. What was it? Norman Osborn in TASM 1, where it's like it's just a figure, but they didn't give him a face because they didn't have anybody cast. Just do it like that. Honestly, I don't care. It's stupid enough. Like whatever. It's.
We're at that point. Do it. I know.
I'd be good with that. So yeah, it sounds like soon something's gonna happen with it, and hopefully they do it right. I mean, you can't do it worse than the last 2 iterations. So
No.
you know, it's.
In fairness, the mid 2000s Fantastic Four probably got the Doom before Doom the best.
Yeah.
Corman 1 got Doom as Doom the best, and then Fantastic just went trash bag.
Good when you mentioned Corman 1 and best. Oh boy, the bar is so
I mean,
low.
it was overall was the most accurate.
It's true.
Right,
It's true.
so if we can just merge everything together, then you got a good Doom.
Exactly. That's how I see it. Let's fly on over to Alpha Flight. See what I did there?
Boo.
Yeah, I know. Well, Alpha Flight, apparently in some stage of early trying to figure out how to put them into the MCU. Yeah.
Now, what I want to know is which version of Alpha Flight. Are we doing the old school Alpha Flight, like Captain Canada and all that? Or are we doing the Captain Marvel Alpha Flight? 'Cause if it's the Captain Marvel one, it's easy. Just put him in the second movie.
I was going to say that a part of me, I feel like they're going to do the Marvel Studios bait and switch. You know, the typical, yes, we're doing this. And they're going to just amalgamate the 2 more popular versions, which is those 2, and be like, guess what? Yes, it's Alpha Flight. It's the old iteration and the new one, so let's meet somewhere in the middle. And honestly, yeah, I think that could work, like, and be entertaining as hell. So,
Hey, because Puck and Sasquatch are on both anyway, so it's already the Captain Marvel version is already kind of an amalgamation, so it probably wouldn't be that hard.
right.
But it's just like a
I know some people will inevitably be mad. It's like, well, it's not the version from the comics. It's like, well, it never is in these movies. So, I mean,
6 Canadians would be mad about it.
Oh, damn. But so, who would you include on the team? Like, who do you realistically put on this? That because you got to have some recognition, right?
I say it depends what you do. If you're just doing the Captain Marvel one, then I'll be happy with just Puck and Sasquatch. Let's do that. That's fine. That's fine by me. But then I feel like you kind of need like the Captain Canada, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Alpha Flight's like a void in what I know of Marvel.
I know very little, and most of what I know is the most recent Captain Marvel. So it's
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, put Wolverine on it. Why not? He's Canadian.
I was
At one point, he was part of Alpha Flight. So
I was actually just about to bring that up because I remember that distinctly being a thing. What if that's your first introduction to Wolverine? Is like, hey, we got this dude who kind of joins us. I mean, he's Canadian, so yeah.
But then you've got 2 short, hairy people on there, and it's kind of like, oh, which one's which? Who's Puck and who's Logan? Maybe that's why he splits off. I don't know. There's only room for one short, angry person on there.
That's true. And I mean, I think there's a lot that they could do with Alpha Flight. And would you do this as a movie, or would you spin it off from Captain Marvel into Disney Plus?
I spin it off into Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I don't think Alpha Flight's a movie at all.
Same.
But I could just be me not knowing much about him. So
I was going to say, and I'm not undervaluing those characters or anything, but let's be real. In like 3 years from now, Marvel Studios is going to have to really try to figure out what can go on film because there's so many properties in development.
Yeah.
Most stuff is probably going to be relegated to TV from this point on forward because there's just more room. Like,
yeah, it's cheaper to do, it's quicker to do.
Yeah. I mean, everything about it is much cheaper, and you get, in the long run, you're getting more revenue. So, it's keep the big event films. I'm hopeful when they do get to Alpha Flight, though. Like, just give me new stuff I don't expect. That's always what I ask from Marvel and DC. Like, I don't want the same old thing, you know? Like, it's just give me new characters. If you have to, you know, mash up character versions from alternate universes, go ahead. Just give me some cool stuff.
With that, I do wonder if they do go with Snowbird, are they going to go with the original one or the Champions version?
With who?
Snowbird.
Snowbird?
Yeah.
Was she on Champions?
Or a version of it. It's basically
Are you thinking of the girl that shapeshifts in Champions?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not. That's what's her name? It's not Snowbird.
Because it's
Snowguard. She was brand new.
Well, technically brand new. It's just the name because Snowbird does almost the exact same things as her.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know.
Now, can I ask a big important question? Is it okay to bring back Peter Dinklage as Puck?
I don't know.
Because since he was a giant, now we're just going to do the opposite thing. Just be like, no, now he's...
that he got his arms and legs cut off.
I mean, is Puck that short? I didn't think Puck was that short.
I thought Puck was like 3 feet, honestly.
I don't know.
I mean, it's comic book art, so it's flat, so you can engage it however you will. But I always thought he was pretty short.
Well, he always said he didn't want to play like little people or dwarf roles. So,
but he played a giant dwarf, so
but he wasn't small. That's point.
True. That's true.
Subverted the trope of dwarves.
Ah, damn that Ryan Johnson. That's his fault with subversions and everything.
Unless they make Puck massive, then
sure,
go for it.
I mean, sure, why not? So yeah, Alpha Flight. I'm assuming we'll hear next about this one in like 2 years, because I feel like
if ever.
Yeah,
it's probably just a name on a notepad. They're like things we might be able to do. Like, Alpha Flight ? No.
Yeah, Feige was drunk one night. He goes, "You know what we should do? Alpha Flight," and like wrote it on a napkin, and they stuck it on a board somewhere, thinking he's right, like, you know, doing this. He's just like, "Oh, well, I guess I'll call up first."
It's gonna be like, who the hell put this on here?
Yeah. Was this Loeb? That's why I fired Loeb. God damn it, Loeb.
This is why Hellstrom doesn't have the logo on it.
No, it's true. It's true.
No, you know, at this point, like, Alpha Flight is rumored. Everything's rumored.
Yeah.
They're literally at a point that people are getting tired of hearing what's rumored because everything is rumored. Because guess what? They are thinking about doing everything because they have a bigger platform now.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as crazy as it sounds, like, yes, they have more room to expand. So,
yeah, it's interesting to say the least. I don't know what to expect from anything really, but
it's just that they have so many options. They don't know what to do first.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's
why a lot of the stuff from this last week's kind of like, really, like, why these 3 things of all
right?
Everything. It's like, hey, we can set up Doctor Doom in this way. Like, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. Alpha Flight. When we get to it, we'll get to it sometime, maybe, possibly. It's a thing. It exists. So, Firestar, which I think most people will know this character from the old cartoon. I think that's where pretty much everybody remembers Firestar from.
Spider-Man and Friends.
Yes.
Amazing Friends.
That was actually my first exposure to Spider-Man in cartoon form, was that show. So it holds fond memories for me. Firestar, honestly, by the sound of it, could be the first MCU mutant. Now, what's the rumor with this and her appearance? Where would this go, even?
I don't think there's any word on where she could appear. It's just that they're looking to use her again.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the Lucia von Badros bit for Doctor Doom. Is that they're looking at the character, it's just where to put it. My guess would be Spider-Man.
Right?
Why would you not?
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up right now. That's the best thing for the rumors, that they're trying to look to see if they can put her in a Spider-Man movie.
Unless you could do like a Captain Marvel and put her in there, depending. I don't know. She could probably go pretty much anywhere, but I'd say Spider-Man's probably your best guess. If anything.
The only reason I could see it not happening in Spider-Man is due to some of the conflicts that Sony and Disney have had, because it's but
yeah, it's true. That's true.
Other than that, it's that's the most logical place to put that character that really works. Now, at the same time, if we're hearing this, maybe they are planning that. Maybe you could like plant the seeds of it. Like, I just don't see how she could be involved with a third Spider-Man film, specifically the plot they're going for. Like, that's the only part that doesn't click with me.
I suppose they could have like a place for runaway kids with powers. Get it, runaways? But I don't know.
Ow, that hurt. Ooh.
In fairness, I didn't intend for that one, but I said runaway kids and it clicked, so I thought I had to explain the joke because that's common. Or at least I think that's common anyway. I don't know. But well, yeah, maybe that's what happened. He just bumps into her and they're on the run together.
That could work.
Then bring in Cloak and Dagger for God's sake. No,
I mean, you know what? When you mentioned it that way, if he's on the run because his identity's outed, and then suddenly he runs into a mutant, she's like, "I'm on the run because I'm developing these powers." Like, what? Oh, okay. Like, let's see the seed for mutants here. I could see that paying off.
Maybe she's with Johnny as well. Not Johnny, Bobby. Got to take confused. Yeah, maybe she's with Bobby. And you have that dynamic right there.
That's ultimate. That's ultimate.
That would be.
I mean, you could bring in Johnny as well. Hell.
Yeah. No, honestly, I really like Firestar, so I'm really hopeful that this turns out to be something that does happen. Just I'm always like, I think the third Spider-Man film though should focus largely on Spidey alone and not have any of the additional like glorified cameos or anything. You know, like.
Well, that's why you can kind of make it a central point of the film, because you know he does make friends, and he's always had a close knit, like Johnny, Bobby, and Firestar. He's always had that little core group that he's been associated with. So you could argue that it's probably not the right time. It's got to focus on him, but at the same time, it's probably not a bad idea to start building his relationship for like heroes his own age, so you can have them grow up together in these movies and do it that way. You know, Firestar doesn't have to be just a cameo. You could make her a lead or co-lead, really.
True.
Which I wouldn't have a problem with. And then you can have a different looking Spider-Man movie. So you've got the fire powers going everywhere, and you can do it off that way. But
right. Yeah. I mean,
that's if they go that route and she's that young. They could make her an adult off the bat and put her somewhere else. But
right, yeah, they could. I mean, possible. Anything really is possible. I wouldn't mind it. Like, either way, just start introducing these damn mutants into the MCU somehow. And if Firestar's the first one, cool. That's cool. I'm good with that. You know.
But who'd you get as Firestar? Because I have no idea. So I don't think you need to have it as a redhead, because you can always either dye it or put a wig on it.
Right, of course, yeah. Honestly, I have no idea. I can't even think of an actress right now.
I've seen people say get Liz Allen back for it, but that girl's apparently in her 30s, and it's like, how? I don't understand.
Yeah. Honestly, I have no clue. It's whoever they cast, I'm assuming it'll be a good casting because they haven't really missed a mark on anybody yet. So, you know, it's...
True.
Yep. So, yeah.
Apart from the Hawkeye casting, because we haven't got that yet, and that's supposed to start filming in 2 months.
Oh, so there you go. Yeah. There you go. So, Marvel TV is looking to cast some interesting characters. The one pretty much everybody's landed on is the possibility of Echo. So, Echo is a Daredevil related character. Her story is deeply entwined with like the Hand and Kingpin. I was just recently I started rereading Daredevil post Frank Miller, and I literally passed her issue just days before that news kind of hit. So I was like, oh, that's kind of nice, because I actually I'm just literally read it. So I'd be excited if this character does make it to live action, because I think there's something really cool with that character, and I don't know if they would change many aspects of it. I assume you probably get rid of the Hand connection, because...
I mean, you don't have to get rid of the Hand connection.
You don't, but do you want to be this was explained in Iron Fist? Oh.
I mean, it was explained in Daredevil, so it's fine.
Oh, that too, yeah. I'm not as much as Iron Fist, but yeah.
It's true, but hey, you haven't got to acknowledge that. You just... brush it off.
They definitely won't acknowledge that.
No. But this is my question: is this setting up Daredevil, or is this just a tie-in to Hawkeye because she was the original Ronin? Because I think the people are trying to say this is casting for a lead in their own TV show. So no, it's not. It's a lead in a TV show.
Right. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
I think it's clearly Hawkeye, given the date it said for filming. Yeah, that's when Hawkeye's supposed to start. So it should make sense. You can have her in the flashbacks, and then you could bring her in later on.
That is true. I wouldn't mind it if maybe it's multiple things. Like if Hawkeye starts filming and the Daredevil thing eases up, maybe you explain it with a flashback. You add in Daredevil to the MCU proper. You're like, oh, she has connections to that character. Yeah, some time has went on for Daredevil. He's had connections with this character. So you can sort of have your cake and eat it too, if you will, with that one.
I say the way things are going, we can absolutely put Daredevil in anything before stuff starts production.
Exactly.
So you want Daredevil and Spider-Man 3, the lawyer? Cool, you can have him in there. You want him in She-Hulk? Cool, you can have him in there. In Hawkeye? Cool, you can have him in there.
You could literally have him anywhere by the time they're back in production because he'll be free. All of them will. So I would realistically, I wouldn't mind it if they do play her as, the Ronin that he kind of gets it from, and then maybe establish some history there with the Hand. I mean, the Hand does, with Elektra originate and have some play that you can do throughout Europe and the ancient history. So you could say that literally the part she comes from is a different section of the Hand. Like you can skew it enough so it's like, oh, that's why they never mentioned it. It's like, and nobody would, I think, care or complain. So I think it could work. Like there's possibilities to make this work easily and explain where the character has been. Now, on the offhand, that maybe they're casting somebody else. They definitely aren't. It's definitely Echo, though. Who else could it be?
I haven't got a clue who else it could be if it isn't Echo.
Yeah.
Because it's not, like, it's a very specific description of a character. Like, it feels like it's the most oddly specific character, like, the casting call they've ever done. And it's like, well, it's got to be Echo. Like, why would it be anyone but Echo?
Right.
So it doesn't make sense for it to be anyone else but Echo. So
yeah, that's oddly specific. And hopefully, if they do cast, they can kind of roll other elements into it and really focus on the Ronin character and kind of what it is, the relation to other aspects of the MCU. How Clint even got that identity, that'd kind of be cool in those flashbacks. Maybe explain that. So
I know, actually, I have seen a couple of people say it's for Miss Marvel, and it's like, no, it's not Miss Marvel whatsoever.
Nope.
Nationality's wrong. She doesn't know to do the sign language bit. She doesn't do this, that. It's not Miss Marvel whatsoever.
If that was Miss Marvel, you might as well. I don't know. Like, honestly,
not do Miss Marvel.
Right? Yeah.
Like...
if this is Miss Marvel, you've picked up the wrong script. I don't know what you've been doing. Yeah. So yeah, more than likely Echo. I'm assuming since Hawkeye's supposed to start as soon as they reopen, really, they're going into pre-production. So
I think it's September, something like that. Hey, they still need to cast a Kate Bishop, so we'll see on how that one pans out.
Yeah, we'll see. But in due time, Echo. It sounds like that's exactly what we're getting. That has brought us to the end of the show, which hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We did our best. The topics were, not the greatest things we ever had, but we tried to make do with what we had. So hopefully it worked out for you guys. At the same time, if you're members, just check out the page after the podcast goes live. We should have the bonus additional topic for you guys, which obviously we will be discussing Michael Keaton. Yeah, that's boy, that was a story that came out of nowhere. And
wasn't it just? Jesus.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. We'll talk about that in there, and of course we will be back next week with another show. Hopefully, there's a little bit more news, and we did learn since the show we did that DC is officially going to be hosting DC Fandom. I kind of wanted to talk about it, but I'm like, but we don't have any really news other than it's
To be honest, I completely forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely forgot about it. It doesn't help that was 2 weeks ago they announced it, so
Right.
I was just like, oh, okay. Or it felt like 2 weeks ago anyway. So I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, oh, it's, and they haven't really announced much other than, oh, it's happening. We're bringing content, and then the people that are bringing content are like, we're going. Oh, okay. Like,
Which, funnily enough, the Keaton's Bat logo was part of it. It's just like, oh, they told us there.
Yeah.
Sly bastards.
Yeah, no, they did a good job. So really hyped about that. Hopefully, nothing delays that, and hopefully everything turns out to be really good. I mean, it is a pre-recorded event, so they shouldn't have too much trouble. I hope. Like, so.
I mean, can't be any worse than some things that have tried this sort of stuff, but
True. So,
just have to wait and see.
yeah. So with that in mind, we will catch you all next week.